Jean is going to let you know about the next new project involving the mini reefs and water quality improvements in the heart of Siesta Key.
Okay, so what we're trying to do is create real estate, increase the sea life density and diversity in our waters. We're trying to make sure we can get back some of that sea life. Okay, so Siesta Key's Grand Canal Regeneration Project. We've got the island view. We're putting the mini reefs in all of the locations, and mini reefs are one of the things we're using to create habitat. We have the canal, Grand Canal is broken up into 4 sections. We're doing science in the Grand Canal. We're actually looking at what we're doing. We're checking again the types of combinations of species that are coming in, and we're getting an idea of what we're actually getting on the reefs as far as oysters, shrimp, all the different kinds of things that we're seeing, mussels, clams, etc. So we're doing more studies in each of these sections to understand what the water quality is today, a baseline, and to see how the mini reefs and the things we're doing will actually improve the water. So two views, the whole island for habitat, and then looking at the canal for some of the science. The next thing was to tell you again, we haven't moved from our 272. That's the total number of reefs we're in. We're at 212 in the actual canal, which is really, really good because that's 9 miles of waterways, 1 entrance, 1 exit, and 9 miles of canals, which are storm water systems. So you don't have the best water, but to get the 212 in, we think we can have some impact on that water quality. So what I want to talk about next is, and last year what we did is we submitted and completed Waterside East, the north end of the Grand Canal. We put in 33 reefs with the help of the county. And on top of that, other residents put in, so you can see how the density increased up in my white circle of the mini reefs, because they actually saw a lot of impact. So other people jumped in and purchased. So the next intent was to come to the county for the proposed Siesta Isles project. And we presented to them back in the middle of middle of this month. And we now have commitments for them to purchase 50 mini reefs. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute. But the plan was to go to the county for them to help us with the 50-50 to try to double the area down here, the south end. So what we would have is from the top of Commonwealth all the way down to the, what would you call it, shadow lawn. We'd have a whole line of mini reefs coming all the way in on that main channel. So that was our plan. Next step. Okay, so we went to the county and this is cycle 36. We proposed purchasing 60 mini reefs, the county supporting us with a 50-50 grant. The residents would come in and give 1/2 of it, and the county would give the other half. Additionally, we went with Outdoor Academy, and what we're doing is working with them and the county stormwater people to identify where all of the drains are in that particular area. So every time we go into a section of the canal, we stencil the drains, we identify what they're doing, the fact that they are the flow into the canal. And we also give them an idea of what the regulations are. Like, you shouldn't be putting your pool water in here because it doesn't do well with fish to have chlorine. So things like that, so we can help educate people of what the stormwater system is supposed to be. And we do see that people really do pay attention. They didn't really realize or think about it that deeply until we came in. And it's colorful, so it gets people to look at it and understand we can't dump in there. Also, getting people to purchase brings them into the picture. More people are engaged with the canal and the water. And then finally, we film the different areas so we can count the sea life and we can watch the growth. And we use digital tools again in the canal for the water sampling. And that helps the citizens understand what we're doing and how the study is going. Now, that's what we've proposed. And I've just got word Friday that we didn't get the grant. So that was a disappointment. But then I had a real opportunity. Someone came and offered $35,000 to Siesta Key's program to purchase mini reefs at a 50-50. So I am taking the 50 that Siesta Key Isles have committed for, and we're going to be using that as our first install off of that grant. Now that's the first install. We will have an ability to put 215 mini reefs on the island of Siesta Key. So people have gone to the condo council, given them a letter and told them about the program. And I'd love to see especially the ones that are in the intercoastal, put in mini reefs under their docks. I'm also asking homeowners associations to look at coming together as a group and coming in and buying a few 20, 30, so we can put them in concentrated areas. So that's something I'd like to have us consider, and I would be looking at that in the future. The second thing so first round is going to be Siesta Isles. We've got 50 we're going to be putting in. We'll be looking at a June time for that install. We go look in May to get the money and purchase, and June to install. I'll be looking to try to do them in groups of 50. So I'd love to be able to start to gather as much as I can to collect the money and be able to get 215 more reefs in our canal. So we go from like 272 up to over 500. It'd be absolutely awesome. Okay, the other thing I've done is I've brought in both the local high schools. I've got right now Outdoor Academy, and Kim Walsh is the science teacher there, and her students are going to build for us these vertical oyster gardens. This is Sarasota Bay Estuaries grant, and they are going to support the purchase of the ropes and the oyster shells and any of the tools we need to put these together. But what we're trying to do is use the oyster shells another way to build habitat, because other oysters would attach to them, and it would also be able to attract fish and other sea life. So, and not only that, it brings the kids in. They'll do the stenciling, but they're also going to be building and installing these mini reefs. Here's some of the pictures of what I've done with them in the past year and a half. And now we're going to try to go to Sarasota High School as well. And I'm trying to get a contact at Riverview so I can give all 3 high schools doing this kind of work in our canals. Be awesome to get the kids involved. So that'll be the next part of this program. I got Outdoor Academy lined up, and Sarasota High is next. What we're doing with the water testing, right now I've got the kinds of tools that can hit the testing and reporting: salinity, turbidity, pH level, dissolved oxygen, connectivity. I'm looking for nitrates and phosphates next. That's something that Bob and I are talking about, because there are a lot of different kinds of studies on this. But the idea of a mini reef is to create a habitat. It's a whole environment, and that environment includes fish, shrimp, mussels, clams, as well as oysters. The combination of that can make a difference. So by looking at the nitrates, we see after storms how the water changes color. I mean, that's pretty obvious to people. And by studying our nitrates, we'll be able to really give our residents an idea of what's happening to their water. And oh, by the way, perhaps it's the runoff, and we're not putting that fertilizer down in the summer, right? We're waiting for later on. So things like that we can help educate them on, I think is important. So what I'm doing then is this donor grant, right now, for several years, we've been doing this almost 2.5, 3 years now. All right, and the canals are in. The purpose is again to get the habitat, to be able to create real estate for the sea life, bring back our water quality, and also be able to get the dock owners and the fish and free life coming back to us. The donors offer a large donation grant. It had to be approved by our board of directors. We didn't have a quorum tonight to be able to make a vote, so we have to come back on that. But what we've been offered is a 50-50 purchase for the mini reefs, and we can get up to 215. People who attend a meeting at Siesta Isle signed up for 50, so I'm well on my way of getting towards that 215 at a 50-50. So 50-50 would mean that a homeowner would pay somewhere between $165 and $169. If they charge, it's $3 or $4 more. If they pay by check, it's less. So and then the donor gives 163. So it's just a combination of what we have to pay that off. All right, and that's it. That's what I have, and we'll be putting more information out on it. But I hope you guys will get an opportunity to think about it and perhaps come back and buy a mini reef. Thank you very much.